to this session about Passwordless Journey. My name is Steinek Alvestad and I'm your today's speaker. And I hope you're doing well during this pandemic, staying safe at your home office, and are ready for some exciting sessions during this TechOn. I will monitor my feed, the chat. It's a live session, so I will do my best to answer your questions. And first of all, I also have some questions during the which will make you the opportunity to win this security key. So if you are staying sharp during this session, you will be one of the lucky winners. So this is a USB-C security key from FIDO. It's brand new, it's not open, and it can get yours. So stay sharp during this session. So I hope you're not too hungry during this session. If so, you're at your home office and you can grab your coffee and your lunch and your popcorn, because we're going to get started as soon as possible. I can see there are some people in the stream now, so I think without further ado, we will just get started. So, of course, we will do a PowerPoint presentation here. The Passwordless Journey, which is some sort of experience I've had with the journey during this time frame of at least since 2018. I got interested in the topic. Yeah, so this is the agenda for today, and so we're going to look into what and why passwordless. We are going to see what's available today, and we are going to get started with Passwordless Journey. So first off, we have, of course, the good old password. It's was created back in the good old time where an MIT scientist created a project where they needed a password, and we have been sticking to this bad password all these years. And yeah, so this picture will just illustrate, of course, now we are satisfied. We have actually created our perfect password, and it's yeah, easy for humans to remember, but for computers, it's easy to guess. So, of course, this is the picture today, and we have always known that passwords are expensive and insecure. They create a lot of hassle for the industry, and because passwords are leaked everywhere, we have data breaches. They generate tons of support calls, and this is just some numbers I got from Microsoft, and they seem to stick to the current landscape today. Security. We have this graph that will show you what's high security and what's the low security, and what's convenient and what's inconvenient. So, of course, passwords are low security, can be convenient for the user, but if we look to the left side, we have the password and second factor, which people tend to see as the inconvenient, but of course it's a lot of high security. And then we have passwordless, which should be some sort of convenient and of course have a high degree of security. So if we are going to go further in the presentation, we of course know there are a lot of man-in-the-middle attacks. There are phishing everywhere, going on every day, either targeted or just randomly bought as a service, and people are every day attacked in some sort. So, of course, if we want to break down the MFA of today, we see that we have some different credential types, and we have, of course, passwords, one-time password codes. We have in the combination with OAuth, and we have the mobile authenticator app. We have smart cards. We have Windows Hello, and we can see which is real-time phishable and which are channel jackable. So if we look into the current landscape, I will actually say that actually the mobile authenticator app is real-time phishable because there are 0 days attacks both on Android and iOS. So of course all of you use your mobile phone as your daily driver for your authenticator authentication, most likely today. And if there are some 0 days, you access a bad malicious website, you have installed some kind of rootkit, malware, whatever, and there are possibilities to do the phishing attack that way. Or either way, it could be that you have the opposite, where you have a problem where actually the end user is so tired of all these MFA requests coming from everywhere, and so have this sophisticated attack. They know that the user is logging on to his computer at 9 o'clock. They they have already phished her password, and they will just generate a MFA request. They will time it really good, and the user will just think, oh, all these MFA requests, let's just accept this one. It probably is related to some kind of application. I have so many different MFA requests all day, so yeah. So that's one of the new problems. So if we go further, we can see what is available today, and we can see what is the possibilities. We, of course, have from Microsoft Windows Hello, we have Microsoft Authenticator, and we have the option for FIDO 2 security keys. So looking into what's going into the market and what are pushing this industry into a passwordless mindset, is that we have today the fast identity online, which is known as FIDO. And a fun fact is that FIDO is a dog, which was known to be the Abraham Lincoln's dog. So I don't know if this is the story behind the name, but even though it's an open authentication, so it's hosted by an alliance, which is the FIDO Alliance, which was originally just a few companies. This was started in 2013, and during this time frame, we just got more people involved, companies getting started, interested in this mindset, and all the big companies like the Alibaba Group, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and so on joined the forces. And throughout 2013, this has really adopted to becoming something really interesting to see. Two is more a combination of the WebAuthn, which is the client API, and the CTAP, which is more like the where FIDO Alliance comes in. And the WebAuthn is where W3C is coming in as the open standard. So combining this together gives us the community, the drive for going forward with a passwordless mindset. And if we look into the CTAP, what is that? Yeah, that's a communication device protocol for communicating with either Bluetooth, NFC, or USB. So yeah, without further ado, let's go further to looking into the possibility in the landscapes. So as you can see, this is a slide from Yubikey. Opportunities to integrate with FIDO or WebAuthn is huge. There are all the big players have sorted out a way to integrate with the protocol. However, it's still a way to go before we are there, and in more like a user-friendly way. And if we look more into the application architecture, you have the authenticator, you have the NFC or USB or Bluetooth, and you have the client, which can be the Android phone, the Windows 10 client, Mac OS, and iOS, so and so on. And if we look into the Yubikey, which is one of the supported vendors out there. There are many vendors building either biometric or USB-based FIDO keys. And Yubikey is from originally from Sweden, has been into the game for a long time. They have been collaborating with Google, and Google is one of the big players having adopted security keys. So the whole organization is using uh, um, security keys, and they are a really good example of our organization actually taking the step in that direction. And if we look into the details of see that the interface is basically having a lot of opportunities. You can see you can even use it with open PHP, and you have even some slots in the interface which you can interact with. So you can do your own customization with some toolings which you can install on your client. Then we are looking more into advanced setup. A regular end user shouldn't be thinking about this technology, but however, if you're interested in the technology, um, it's really fun to play with. So you can use it for a wide range of opportunities. So if we look into the WebAuthn API, we can see that this chart shows that which browsers are supporting the API and from which version and so on. It's the green one shows the supported, the purple shows the not supported, and the blue one tries to indicate the partial support. It means that it still needs some time to fix some dependencies in the API. So this is a nice place to go if you want to look into what's supported and so on. So I think it's time for a demo now already. We cannot talk and talk all day long. We need to see what is the WebAuth and what are we talking about? How does this combine together? We need to get hands on. So I will try to share my screen now. That this is a service from Auth0, which is a big identity key player in the market, and they have a really nice demo site that we can use for looking into the authorization layer. So if we go down, we can see they have some kind of different processes which you can register your user, and we will use the authenticator, which is the FIDO key I have connected to my computer. We will see how this works further when we have a relying party, which is some application at some identity provider. And let's just say that we have the name of FIDO, and we want to register this user. It will now go and challenge the relying party, and it's using, since I'm on a Edge browser which supports the WebAuth and API, it challenged me now for I will now touch my pin and touch my FIDO key with the tap. So I have a USB based one. I will enter my pin, touching the security key. It's getting the public key and private key handshake. And now we can see that our new credential is created with the application. And now we want to authenticate with this new application with the credential that we created. And it's going next to the next phase. It wants to challenge me again. I'm entering my PIN, touching the security key. It's doing the challenge and signature. It's validating that I'm who I actually am, because I am the FIDO key, and we are successfully logged in. So this was just a simple demo to look into the WebAuth and API. So let's go back to the presentation. We have on the agenda the last part, which is to get started. So how can we actually get started? This will be in terms of Windows 10s with Azure AD setup, and also looking into iOS, how this can work. So to get started with the Passwordless Journey, we need some kind of special force. Here we have the child or Baby Yoda that maybe a lot of you have seen on TV. And of course, I think we need him during this presentation to give us some power. And looking more into what Microsoft describes as a passwordless strategy, they say that you need to, of course, develop a plan for replacing your password, and you need to reduce the user visibility, and you need to transition into a passwordless deployment. You need to absolutely eliminate every possible use case of passwords in your organization. And of course, you can then join the world of passwordless. So this seems very easy. But as my session states, this is a journey. It's a lot of previews before we are 100% done. And in the summary, we're going to see why. So if we look into this, how security keys works with Microsoft, we have at least some different stages here. So as you can see, the end user, he plugs in the security key, the Windows detects the security key, and we will send an auth request to the relying party, and Azure AD will send back announce, and the user will unlock his private key stored in the security key, and the FIDO2 key will again sign the announce and with the private key. So it's a bit similar that we looked into the earlier demo, and Azure AD will create you will create a primary reset token with the signed announce sent to Azure AD, and Azure AD will verify the signature, and at the last step, at 9 is where Azure AD will return the primary refresh token to enable the access to the whatever resource you wanted to access. So I think that we are going to maybe go into another setup. This is the hybrid approach where you can do an integration with Windows Hello. So if you are a big organization um, using Windows Hello today, you have the opportunity to extend with FIDO 2 security keys. Um, so you can the process is a bit different. However, you can integrate with Kerberos, and I don't have a demo right now on this, but we can go for a more easy setup where we can look into Windows 10 with an Azure AD joint device and look into how the different setup works. So I will go to my Windows 10 demo. So now we will just see how this works. So at least we have we were talking about some different vendors in the market creating security keys. So this is one from FIDO, which is a big vendor in the industry. They are creating, this is a biometric one with Bluetooth. And you also have another biometric one, which is the same process, but this is maybe a bit nicer because this one can actually be used as your access card to your if it was your access card, you will bring it to work. So something we will talk about later is the lifecycle management. And so this is the printed layout I was thinking about. So for example, you print this to your card, and this one is a fingerprint card, which needs another interface to work with. It needs first, the setup needs to have this NFC. And yeah, so of course you have different kinds of setups and a lot of different options for your organization. And if we look into a computer, I have now a USB based one, and we will look into the computer that's connected on the side, and I will switch over to it. First off, we're just gonna see how it works if we want to set up the security key. It's the first initial setup. I'm running Windows 20H2 build, and this security key possibility in Windows 10 was already there from 1809, but however, it has evolved now a lot, and we don't need any more custom settings to set it up. It's integrated to the OS, which is really nice. And if we go into now one of the clients here, I'm going to you can see it's connected here. I want to go to my security keys, which is I have the possibility to add more keys here. So if I look into my security keys now, I have already configured some keys. However, I will try to add this additional key. So then you will go to the add method. You will show which method you have available for you. We will go back to another demo to see how you can enable this in your organization. However, the end user will have this experience. So let's see how this works. So now I got a request on my account to approve this security key. So this is from the Authenticator app. I will approve it. I will do my biometric on the Authenticator. I will log in to the computer, and then I have to do the gate of which kind of device it is. So if I go back to the screen here, we can see that this is still a USB device. And we will go to the next step, which is to set it up. So now it's asking me to enter the PIN of the security key. I will touch the security key, and I will name my security key. And it's easy for me to know which key is now added. We should also now, with the new feature of Microsoft, get a notification to our Authenticator app as well that we have added an additional security key. So this is maybe the biggest issue now is the lifecycle management, which needs to get more seamless into the Microsoft landscape. So this was a setup with the security key. So also when I go to the computer, we can see that we have some settings available for our account. And we have some sign-in options, which means that we can also use this security key to log into Windows 10. So now we can see I already created a PIN for it. And like an end user, they also have the possibility to reset the PIN or the key. So let's see if I can lock this computer now and try to use the new security key. So as you can see, I have still my regular password. With some custom settings, we can actually remove all this different option and maybe just have this one at last. So this is the security key, and I'm gonna enter the PIN. I'm gonna get challenged for the security key once again. And now we're successfully logged into the device with our Yubikey. So let's get back to one of the setup, how to actually get started with enabling this feature for your organization. So as you can now see, we have the Azure AD setup, and we need to. So I'm logged in as a global admin in this organization. We need to go to the security settings. We need to go into authentication method. There it is. It's not hidden, but it's still in public preview. So as you can see here, I have some options. I also enabled Microsoft Passwordless signing, which we can look into in the later demo. And as you can see, we have some options here. So right now you can either target this to your whole organization, or you can target it to some kind of group. You have some options here where you can force attestation, and you can even force key restrictions. So if your organization are going to only buy keys from Yubikey or FIDO, you can restrict it here, and or in the restricted keys settings. So then you will add some kind of grid that will only allow that types. So I targeted one user here. That was the one we saw earlier, and this is it all which it now takes. Earlier we had to also create custom settings in Intune for getting this supported. And however, lucky for us now, it's successfully integrated into the OS. So, but with these settings, I can actually um, decide which type of devices I wanted to remove. So, for example, if I only wanted password and FIDO key to be an option, I can basically do some customization with my Intune policies and go further with that. So let's go into maybe another demo where we can look more into. So now we have the iOS device. Log into an account which uses. So first off, we can go back to the device. I will use this device, which also has the NFC capability, and I will use it with iOS. So I would just use the NFC reader that's on the backside of this phone and use it for the MFA challenge. So switching back to my device now. Hopefully you can see it. I'm not now prompted to scan my Yubikey. So as you can see in the screen, I'm trying to hold it close to the NFC reader, and you can see that I have successfully authenticated to the application. So this was just a short demo on iOS, how you can use it. Let's go into the PowerPoint presentation again and see what else we can talk about. So yeah, we then did the demo, and I think we can do some more summary here where we can discuss the passwordless opportunities here. So at last we can see that yes, this kind of journey needs to mature. We are not 100% having a full-blown product. We need to still be in the previews for at least the Microsoft landscape. The developer support needs to grow, and what I mean about that is that more organizations that needs to look into the APIs and how they can interact with supporting this technology further. And in terms of lifecycle management, we also need to have stronger lifecycle management, because now, for example, in the pandemic, it's not easy to send security keys and let the end user register themselves. At least in most organizations, this can be a problem. And if we look into the opportunities with eliminating the passwords, we also don't have the strong API support that we need yet. So if you want to totally kill the password, it's not ready. It's not prime time for that. And if you need to adapt this passwordless mindset, you really need to look into how you can get this education started, because it will probably require at least some user adoption framework, and without that, your organization will probably, if not everyone is tech savvy, it will go okay, but most organizations are not. So you need to create some strategy about which kind of keys you want to choose, and if we are looking into the future. So yeah, if we look into the contest here, if we go into the chat and reply, I asked the question, which president actually had a dog named Fido? And if you know the answer in the chat, and I will send this to you on mail. So if we now have some additional time, at least at the end here, I can see that we got a question from Michael Duxberg. It's a good option for glass accounts which needs to be locked in a safe for requirements. And yes, this is a really good use case for security keys. If your organization needs some kind of additional security on the accounts. And I can also see, oh, yeah, I see that we have some answers on the chat. So I can see that Alda Borge was maybe the first one to reply, and Odd Egil was second. Oh, and I will send one security key to Eldar in his mail so he can get started with his passwordless journey. And if you have any questions at all about this journey that we need to continue on furthermore, you can send me questions on Slack, Teams, or mail me or call me if you want. I really like to extend the discussion furthermore, and I can see that we actually are on time, but have so much more on the agenda. So without further ado, I will thank you for joining in, and at least stay safe. I like to also say a big thanks to the TechOn community which organized this conference. It was really nice that we had the opportunity to do this virtual. However, next time we can be probably in 2021 meet together, get the physical conversations back, which will be really fun. And yeah, if I don't see any more questions, I think I will stop for now. And thank you so much for joining. Bye.